What would you do if the woman you loved, the one you built a life with, was secretly dismantling it piece by piece right under your nose? I never thought I would find myself staring at a glowing phone screen at 2 a.m. in our quiet Brooklyn brownstone. The digital remnants of a life-shattering betrayal laid bare. The message wasn't even subtle. A casual "can't wait for our next business trip." Darling from a contact saved innocently as Client X. My breath hitched, a cold dread spreading through my chest, far worse than any nightmare. My wife Sarah was sleeping soundly beside me, or so I thought, her face serene, utterly oblivious to the earthquake that had just erupted in my hands. The screen flickered, illuminating the faint outline of her wedding ring on the bedside table. A cruel mockery of the vows we'd exchanged. I knew in that instant that everything I believed was a lie, and the man I was just moments ago was gone, placed by a hollow shell filled with a terrifying, unfamiliar resolve. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a tidal wave of shame that threatened to drown me. Sarah, my Sarah, the woman I'd put through law school, the one I'd supported through every career setback, was cheating. The Client X message was just the tip of the iceberg. Over the next few weeks, a pattern of strange behavior emerged. Late nights at the office became more frequent. Her phone was always face down, and she developed an almost obsessive need for privacy, even taking calls in the bathroom. Her once warm demeanor turned cold, her eyes distant, her words clipped. She'd snap at me for trivial things, then retreat into a shell of feigned exhaustion. I felt like a ghost in my own home, watching a stranger inhabit the body of my wife. The slow, agonizing discovery continued. Receipt for a high-end restaurant in downtown Chicago, a place we'd never been to, tucked into her purse. A hotel keycard from the Magnolia Suites in Dallas found beneath the passenger seat of her car. The phone calls, always hushed, always ending abruptly when I entered the room. Each piece of evidence was a shard of glass, piercing deeper into my already fractured heart. I started to feel a profound sense of disgust, not just for her actions, but for the manipulative facade she maintained. She became a villain in my eyes, arrogant in her deception, selfish in her pursuit of fleeting pleasure, believing herself untouchable. I remember one particularly brutal evening. We were at a dinner party in a sprawling penthouse overlooking Central Park, hosted by one of her senior partners. Sarah was radiant, laughing, charming everyone, her hand resting casually on my arm, playing the part of the devoted wife. But across the room, I saw him, Mark, a slick, self-satisfied associate from her firm, his eyes lingering on Sarah a moment too long. He caught my gaze, a smug smirk playing on his lips, a silent acknowledgement of his conquest. In that moment, I felt something inside me break, not just my heart, but my spirit. I excused myself, walked to the nearest men's room, and stared at my reflection. My eyes were hollow, my face pale. I was a broken man, utterly humiliated, and the villains in my story were reveling in their victory. But something else stirred within me that night, a cold, calculated anger that began to replace the pain. I wasn't going to be a victim. I wasn't going to let them get away with it. I started to gather proof, meticulously, secretly. I installed a discreet GPS tracker on her car, noting every deviation from her supposed work routes. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop named Frank, who worked out of a cramped office in a forgotten corner of Queens. He provided me with irrefutable evidence, photos of Sarah and Mark entering and leaving hotels, timestamps, even a video of them kissing in a dimly lit parking garage on West 42nd Street. I backed up every text message, every email, every suspicious bank statement. I built a fortress of evidence, brick by painful brick. My revenge began to take shape, a carefully constructed legal and social trap. Sarah was up for a senior partnership at her firm, a position she coveted more than anything. I knew her firm had a strict morality clause, and I also knew about her substantial prenuptial agreement, which stipulated a significant financial penalty for infidelity. I consulted with a divorce attorney, a sharp, no-nonsense woman named Ms. Davies, whose office on Wall Street felt as cold and calculating as my own resolve. We planned every move, every filing, every public disclosure. I started subtly distancing myself from our mutual friends, planting seeds of doubt. Hinting at Sarah's unusual work schedule, The public exposure happened on a Tuesday. It's just like the night I found the messages. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation, no shouting match in a crowded restaurant. It was far more devastating. The firm's managing partner received an anonymous package containing a meticulously compiled dossier of Sarah's infidelity, complete with photos, dates, and locations. Simultaneously, a carefully worded email, sent from an untraceable account, landed in the inboxes of every board member and senior partner. The news spread like wildfire through the legal community. The partnership offer was rescinded. Her reputation, once pristine, was shattered. The divorce proceedings were swift and brutal. The evidence I had gathered was overwhelming. Sarah, stripped of her arrogance, tried to fight, but there was nothing to fight with. The prenuptial agreement was enforced, leaving her with a fraction of what she expected. Her social circle evaporated, friends choosing sides, most of them mine. Mark, the smug affair partner, was quietly transferred to an obscure branch office in Topeka, his career effectively derailed. Sarah was completely ruined, professionally, financially, and socially. She lost everything she had built, everything she had taken for granted. I saw her once, months later, walking alone down a rain-slicked street in downtown Los Angeles. Her shoulders slumped, her once vibrant hair dull. She didn't see me. I felt nothing, no triumph, no satisfaction, just a profound, chilling emptiness. The revenge was complete, but it had left a scar on my own soul, a permanent reminder of the cost of betrayal. The silence that followed was the loudest sound of all. The end.